Puckline news, playoff coverage brought to you by BetMGM is back. We are live here on Wednesday morning in our beautiful LA office, our bar studio. We had one game last night. We're going to get all into the Dallas-Winnipeg series, how Dallas looks like they're taking over the world, and also, as you've seen on Twitter and Instagram, the legend himself, Jeremy Roenick, JR, joining the show, going to chop it all up about the playoffs.
But first, live Diddy coverage. So let's get into it.
Here we go. On day one of the trial, we had a poor female reporter accosted by a homeless man. What more could you want? This is the action we need.
Dude, no, and we're not actually going to do a lot of live Diddy coverage here, but I just have to say, I have to get it off my chest. It is so gnarly that literally the first witness of a 2-month saga where you're going to hear and see some shit. The first witness comes in and has to be accosted from both sides that he was brought to the house of Diddy and his girlfriend and paid by Diddy to have sex with Diddy's girlfriend while Diddy watched and jerked off in the corner. And while that's being said at the trial, Diddy's kids, specifically his daughters, have to get up and leave the courtroom. Because I'm like, dude, that is just...
Hey, here's an idea. Why were his children there at all?
Oh, dude, his sons, they were passing notes, they said. I would give anything to see the notes being passed back and forth.
God, dude.
Dad's a dog.
Dad is a dog, bro. We've got jerk-off talk immediately on the live show. That's how you know things are buzzing. Things are going really, really, really well. Let's chat about the Stars and Jets. I know we've got a lot of Stars fans, a lot of Jets fans in the chat here. That was our one game last night. It was a doozy. Mm-hmm. We ripped some bingo last night, hit a couple of lines last night. But top story, Miro back in action, played 14 minutes, had an assist. We had a full Finnish takeover of American Airlines Center.
Yeah, it was actually the Finnish Mafia. There was so much Finnish Mafia chat, dude. It was so sick. Who started on the, what line started for Dallas?
I think Wyatt.
Someone said all the Finns should start.
Yeah,
that actually would have been kind of sick, dude.
That would have been sick. I mean, it's remarkable stuff. Like these guys are out here just fucking buzzing around, but the return of Miro was unbelievable.
Dude, finally, the voodoo doll, the tiki hut, has done its job. And honestly, it's credit to Dallas for allowing Morrissey to come back sooner. Like, clearly they scrubbed off Miro from the voodoo doll because they were like, whatever. Let Morrissey play. I feel bad for the kid. He's a great player.
Yep.
It's playoffs. I feel bad for the Winnipeg fans. I just want him out there. So credit to Dallas for doing that. And then finally, whoever it was, this fucking surgeon who's like, no. Dude, I'd love to know what he's looking at. Like, the surgeon's like, no, still no. And then Miro walks in and he does the fucking Adam Banks stick trick and he goes, go ahead.
You're good.
You're
play. Good to go. I also am curious we saw this in the Colorado series, right? Landy came back. Was it game 4?
He came back game 3, I think it was that.
I think it was
game.
3.
Yeah.
But it is so funny to me how all these guys return at home.
Dude,
don't tell me that's not calculated. Don't tell me that they're not thinking about that.
No, it's such a factor, and I think it's almost a safer environment because you get to have the extra juice from the crowd for him and Dan, the matchup, the line matchup. Where you're like, hey, I kind of,
I like how you still said Dan, even though I was gone.
Yeah, I was looking at you. You
were in the zone.
Yeah, the line matchup because he played 14 minutes, I think.
Yeah,
right? So he's obviously on some kind of regulation, and they're like, we're gonna get him out there in the right spots, and it's easier to do that at home. So I actually think it's low key genius.
He looked so good. He was snapping it around. I think first 5 minutes, Kyle Connor had a great chance coming down on him. He broke it up, took it into the corner.
And which actually ended up turning into a incredible save by Otter. But yeah, like Kyle Connor comes to dangle him through the legs, and Miro's like left skate, get out, and then kicked right in front of you. How are you?
Yeah,
it was fucking sick.
Yeah. Can't state enough.
Yep.
How huge that is.
Yep.
This guy is. I think he's my favorite defenseman to watch in the league.
Did you hear? I wish we had wrote it down. Did you hear his points in playoffs?
No, tell me.
Dude, you said it. We were watching right next to each other, and they were like, Star's glad to have Miro back. He's got 51 points in fucking 60 playoff games or something. And I was like, and you looked at me and you go, as a defenseman. And I was like, yeah, it's fucking insane.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I
Yeah.
forget what they said, but I was like, God
like,
damn, dude.
it's-
God damn. You kind of forget. Because he had that sick, deranged, disgusting regular season like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I did the thing I always do where I just assume every year is going to be better than the last because every day that you see me is better than the day before it. I'm the reverse Office Space. It's actually incredible.
It's just getting better and better and better.
So I was like, oh, Miro, every year you see Miro is going to be better than the year before it. And he hasn't quite hit that high yet. So it's easy to feel a little bit like, damn it. But he's the man. He's still the guy.
What did you think about we had a good back and forth. Like we said, we were doing bingo. Game was buzzing. Both teams were playing well. Didn't have that many shots that early, but Dallas gets that early peeper.
Yep.
And then instantly, what was that? 15 seconds into the power play, 20 seconds into the power play. It was pretty early.
I thought so. I can't remember, honestly.
But Granny gets that first goal. What did you think about that? And if you're a Jets fan in that moment, are you like, we are so
Yeah, a
fucked?
couple things from that moment. 3 things, actually. One, fucking sick little head fake in the neutral zone there. That was awesome. Which it's funny. I swear to God, dude, there are coaches, this is such a tangent, but just go with me. There are coaches paid the big bucks to do things, to come up with strategies that are above my pay grade. But at some point, someone cracked that like the only way to enter the zone on a power play, there's no longer power play breakouts. Remember we used to practice so many power play breakouts through the years of like, okay, this breakout number 1 is like these guys curl, you all do this.
Yeah.
And then coaches in the NHL were like, actually, here's what happens. 3 people sit on the far blue line. 1 guy skate it towards the far blue line, but 1 guy's behind him. And then guy number 4, you just drop it like 2 zones back.
Yep.
And then you also stand on the blue line. And then guy 5 try to enter. Literally every team, all every team does.
Yep.
And then all 4 defensemen are standing on the blue line. So you've got 8 guys standing on the blue line while 1 guy tries to enter.
Yep.
And I'm like, is this the best way to get in the zone?
I know.
And clearly that's what they say. But I'm just like, what is this? And sometimes I just wish there were more dudes trying to just skate it in because it always feels like it's either a rim because you're like, I can't get in, or it's one of those passes right on the blue line that get broken up every fucking time.
Yeah.
So to see Granny just be kind of like, bang, head fake, and I'm in the zone, I was like, oh yeah, do that, dude. That makes perfect sense. So there's point number 1. Point number 2, yeah, when that one goes in on Helly, you're like, oh my God. Because Granny's a great shot. He's a great player. That is a wrist shot from the high slot. Through not that much of a screen.
Not that much of a screen. That, I think, was the huge factor for me where I was like, ooh, Helly's seeing that the whole way. But it's one of those deceptive, wrister snapshots that I think might be going a little bit higher. It's kind of low glove. He's sliding to the side, and it's that reach. But this is your 2 back-to-back Vezina likely winning goalie.
Definitely.
And it's just like, for fucking Christ's sake, man. I saw someone on Twitter yesterday, a Jets fan, who posted a photo of someone breaking the shackles off their wrist. And it said, admitting Hellebuck is ass. Yeah. And I was just like, oh, dude, that is not the case. He's not ass. But these playoff struggles continue. We have another sub 900 save percentage in a game away. There was someone talking about it yesterday saying you got to just start Comrie in this game because what do you have to lose? Dude. And my answer was you have a playoff game to lose. And I know you were about to be like, you got to do it. You got to do it. You're about to sound like a fucking idiot. Just an absolute baboon. Because, dude, at the end of the day, if you bench Connor Hellebuck and you lose, you look like an asshole. You get nothing.
Good day.
It's such a high risk, high reward.
Yeah, if you can't do it up. What I was going to say was I said to do that in Game 6 in St. Louis when you're up 3-2 because I was like, fuck it, you're going to lose this game anyway, so just do it.
And here's one for you. Start Comrie. You win. So let's say you win 3-0.
Yep.
Then you go back home. You just bench Comrie because you're like, well,
you start him.
Hellebuck. Yeah, that's my point. Because now you're in like we're benching Connor Hellebuck permanently now.
Yep.
It's just this is the world that you live in, Jets. And hopefully it gets figured out. But currently you are living in a horrifying world.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but it's what's happening.
Yep. So my third point was going to be, and we're going to get into this even more, but Granny, that was a big goal for Granny to get.
Yes.
Because specifically, and again, we'll get into it more in a second, but he hadn't been giving you that much.
One goal. He had
in
one
the
goal.
playoffs. So that was a big. I like as soon as that went in, I was like, "Oh, that was good." Just monkey off his back.
Yep.
If you're Dallas, it was a combo of like, "Oh, that was a terrible goal from Helly, and that's a big goal from Granny, so you'll take it."
Yes.
That being said, I thought the Jets played an excellent entire game, but road playoff game first period. Down 2-1, tough barn. How much have we been talking about the Dallas barn lately? Fucking brutal atmosphere to play as a road team, which the Jets should be used to because their barn delivers also, and road players hate that.
32 shots on net.
What was the shots in the first? Did you use that on the app?
Yeah, it sure is.
Because I thought their first period, like when Granny scored, I was like,
10 shots for Winnipeg to Dallas's 5. And
Yeah,
you're down
yeah.
1-0, and you're kind of like, motherfucker.
dude, because we had the shot total going, and I was like,
it was 10, 10, 12. Like they played three
peppered
complete
them, man.
periods. I mean, it's just a phenomenal performance by Jake Ottinger, your boy.
oh, dude.
Kyle Connor had a monster chance, as you said, right before the Granny second goal. So they were playing well. And it does suck when you play that well on the road. You get 32 shots on net, but you lose that game, and it was 1-1 for a quick spell. But I feel like you lose that game, and if Winnipeg fans in the chat, let us know. To me, it felt like they were never in it. One of our most diehard Dallas fans who's hitting us up on Twitter, on Instagram all the time. He was like, that game was the most fun game I've ever watched. I just sat there enjoying myself the whole time. He was at the game, and he was like, I never was worried. They tied it, and I was like, we're winning this game easily.
Kind of a cocky take, though, because I do think Winnipeg was the aggressor. Like I'm not saying you shouldn't have had fun, but I am saying I would have been worried because I'd have been like, Jesus, dude, they are hammering us.
Didn't we, while watching bingo, keep saying Otter is so locked in?
Yep. God, he's seeing it, dude.
He's seeing it.
He's seeing it. Sometimes
I can see it now.
Yeah.
I can see it now. Otter was locked.
Yep. Let's talk about that for a second because that kind of rolls into my point of how well Winnipeg was playing. Otter, the fear of the playoffs. You're seeing this in NBA right now too. And not that I feel like Winnipeg played with their food at any point in this series. You know, like I think people are probably picking Dallas before the series. I think most people probably picked Dallas. Obviously, Winnipeg finished with a better regular season record, but just maybe Dallas is a bit better top to bottom team. So I don't think they fucked around to find out at any point. But the fear in the playoffs is you can play a fucking great game and just run into a buzzsaw every now and then, and that costs you an entire game. These wins are so valuable, and that will cost you a win when you're just like, oh, we probably should have won that game last night. We played awesome, and Jake Ottinger just fucking ate us for dinner.
Yeah.
And then now you're like, great, and you're kind of looking at Helly like, I'm gonna need one back now because we just got one. We got robbed, dude. We've been robbed, and the only way to make things right is if you rob them, and then the money's lined up.
Absolutely no doubt about it. It is one of these things where, and he definitely, Hellebuck had some good games at home against the Blues, for sure.
Yeah.
But he's consistently been bad on the road here. And you are now in a situation where Dallas gets Miro back, which was an immediate huge lift, a 1-goal performance with an assist, looks fantastic. That team is fired up to have one of their leaders back. The fans are fired up to have Miro back. You just had Otter steal a game. You're going home now where Helly's been good. I do think the players are a bit like, you fucking have to have a shutout.
Yeah.
Like, sorry.
Yep.
But we're down 3-1, and you are fucking us with the cell phones. You're fucking us on the road.
Dude.
Like, it's like that is definitely a factor right here.
I thought, what did you think of in terms of the Helly, what did you think of Granny's second goal?
I thought, listen, it's a 2-on-1, right? Those are always difficult, but I do feel pretty strongly that, I mean, Sway says it to us all the time. He's like, I want every goal back. There's never a goal that I let in that I think I should let in. If you're fucking Connor Hellebuck, you better feel that way. You're a mutant.
Because the glove's been a problem, I would say. And high glove's been a problem.
It's a 2-on-1, but it wasn't one of those, sick pass through and then even a return maybe. And you're sliding down 4th Street and it
was 2-on-1, but still, it's just
kind of just a shot.
Yep.
And I was like, oh.
And if that's like nip bar down, you're kind of like, okay, like right there. But it just kind of looks like, you know, the fucking shooter
just
tutor.
goes in and it hits
it's
the
in
net.
It's in the corner of the shooter tutor, but not like the tucked corner. Like it's like
I heard no metal.
Yeah,
I heard no time.
dude.
Like, it was just like
not even back bar, dude. Like that was just like in the net.
It just hit the net.
I'm like, oh no.
But I will say too, there's also that element of that goal where Granny has scored a kind of weak glove side goal already.
Yep.
So now he's coming down, and you've got Hellebuck being like, I mean, he's not going to shoot glove again.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah, like it's a penalty shot.
Right? Yeah. There's definitely that factor, no doubt about it.
And you kind of touched on this too, but I am actually so gutted for. I want to say this series isn't over, obviously, but I made the Rocket Man speech on this live, dude. I was singing Rocket Man, top of my lungs out here.
Yeah.
I have fallen so deeply empathetic for this Jets team and town. You know, like I just want them to be happy. Like genuinely, I watch these games and I'm like, I'm so sorry that this is happening, but I just want you to be happy. There was a chance late that Scheifele got. I'm trying to remember what happened, but it was like a chance that Scheifele got. Otter made another sick glove save, and they were like, the broadcast is like, you know, that's exactly who you want to stick to fall on. And it's Scheifele on the bench. And it's like the franchise's all-time leading goal scorer. And he's just kind of like looking probably at the Jumbotron at the replay.
Watching the replay.
But I was just like, dude, please have good things. Like, I just want you to be okay. And it's not looking good in this year. But oh my God, dude, I feel bad for them. And as I was starting, I'm just so gutted for Kyle Connor because you know how much I love him. And he had that one right before Granny's second, that one back door, like AI made such a sick play, actually.
Yeah.
AI coming, dude, he's a fucking Army knife. We were talking about Jarvis being an Swiss Army knife.
Oh.
He's everywhere, dude. He's playing fourth line, first line, PK, power play.
I'm going to be honest. I think AI is underutilized. He's a very hard worker. He's always buzzing around, and he was disturbing a ton last night. Yep. You're absolutely right. Every time he was on the ice, I was like, oh shit, like this kid he's going to do something.
Absolutely.
It felt like he was going to get one.
And he slides that one to Kyle Connor, and he just couldn't elevate it. You know, it was like too quick. And Otter makes a disgusting kick save, but it was just too quick. And Kyle Connor's like, fuck me, that's the whole. And then Granny scores in 2 seconds. And then right before the power play goal to go 3-1, Kyle Connor gets a breakaway, shorty, tries to go. He kind of did the in-between. Like, if you're going to open him up, you got to slide it backhand earlier, or you got to go all the way. And he just did that in-between, and like Otter got a pat on that one too. And I know he's killing himself because he's like, I had a great A to take the lead, great A to tie it. And I'm your guy. I'm your best goal scorer.
Yeah.
And I got to have those. So that pained me for him, for sure.
No doubt about it. You're so right to the feeling bad for these guys. And listen, this series isn't over.
Correct.
We've seen people come back from 3-1 all the time. I mean, the Panthers came back from 3-1 against Boston 2 years ago and went straight to the Cup. This is not over. You're headed home, back to Winnipeg where you've been great, back to the wall.
Yep.
And that's exactly where you want to be, right? If you are Winnipeg, this is where you want to go in this situation. You want to get Helly back locked in. It does suck, as we've said so many times, how much we love these two teams.
Yeah.
And eventually someone does have to lose. And that's just how it goes, and that stinks. But it is nice to see that if you take out the Hellebuck element, the fact that maybe he's not playing that great, it's great to see that Dallas is playing so well.
Yeah.
In the Oilers series, we keep saying, like, the Kings killed themselves. Last game especially, Vegas killed themselves.
Yep.
That's not taking anything away from Edmonton, but these teams are playing poorly. This was a game, as you've said very intelligently a few times, where I think the Jets were playing great. They were just playing very well. And Dallas just played better.
Yeah.
They had a better goaltending performance. And that I do think that makes it a little bit of an easier pill to swallow sometimes if it comes out that turns out that the Dallas Stars win this series. As the pain fades a little bit and the dust settles, I wouldn't be shocked if the Winnipeg players in a few weeks, in a month, are like, yeah, I mean, they were the better team. Like, they were nasty. As it looks right now, these Stars are just, they're phenomenal.
Dude, and you brought this up earlier, but Granny so he finished with 66 points this year in the regular season across both teams. And then when he got to Dallas in 31 games, 7 goals, 14 assists, 21 points, compared to 45 and 52 for the Sharks. So slightly under point per game for San Jose, and then like a little bit more slightly, but just under point per game. And then playoffs in 1 goal, 3 assists in 10 games. That's not going to cut it.
Yeah.
So to see him pop a hattie, did you see him jump up from his knees, by the way?
Yeah.
That was like,
I don't know how he did that.
That was like, what the fuck, dude? That was outrageous. And also, they announced this. The Stars, regular season and playoffs, do a after the game 20% off hat promo if a player gets a hat trick, which
Such
is
a sick
fucking
move.
genius, dude. Absolutely genius. So incredible. I actually loved that so much. I also have this for you, Dan, because something has to change in the Winnipeg lineup here. Not literally their lineup. Like something has to change if we're gonna make this work. If we're gonna get back into this series. And I have a few thoughts. Okay.
All right, I like it.
Number one, I'm wondering if the two plazas need to fight.
No.
We have Victory Plaza. We have
No.
We have and dude, I found out it's called True North Square, which I didn't know, but that is actually so sick. You know how they yell True North so loud in the anthem, which is money. The True North Plaza and the Victory Plaza, full on war. I'm talking like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I know. We're talking about Game of Thrones with Winnipeg all the time.
Correct.
I don't blame you for that
Yep.
idea. I think my problem is I don't want to sacrifice good people.
Oh yeah, right.
We're
gonna lose good soldiers.
We're going to lose good people on both sides, and I don't need that.
Okay, so one champion from each. One champion selected from each plaza.
Now we're going full Troy.
Yeah.
Give me an Achilles and a
Yep.
Boagrius.
Yep.
That's what you want.
And dude, I think there'd be people volunteering for that role from the True North Plaza and Victory Plaza. They would say, send me.
That's also a good matchup.
Yeah.
A grizzled True North Winnipeg man of the wall versus a Dallas, Texas
Like, this is the fight I need to see.
machine.
Or at the very
true
least, if you don't
Texan,
want
a
to
cowboy.
fight, if you don't want to literally kill someone, then I think that you need to just make your plaza. I think it's a plaza war at this point, either physical or just make it cooler.
You're telling me that you don't trust these Jets players to get the job done.
No.
They need their
They
fans.
need a champion. They need a champion from the True North to fight a Texan, dude. To win that fight.
We got Tyler in the chat saying Texans versus Canadians. Not sure we're thinking this through, boys. Listen, I get it on paper, but we're not talking about.
But Tyler, I think
typical
Tyler's on
Canadians. Tyler,
I think he's on the side of Texans here. I think that's the
that's
chirp,
what
and I'm telling you.
And I'm saying, Tyler, you're thinking a typical Canadian, a nice Canadian. We're talking hockey fan,
crazy
Canadians
man
from
dude.
Winnipeg.
From Winnipeg.
These are men and women of the
His
North.
tattoo he did himself with fucking pen, dude.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay. It's gonna be insane. So I think there's a chance that is where the difference can come from in the plaza.
I don't hate that. Chat, we're going to get Jeremy Roenick in here to talk about this series and everything else. But as we're waiting for JR to pop in, do you have more?
Yeah, I do.
'Cause
I do.
I didn't like that one at first, but at the and eventually I'm like, I like this.
Okay, here's my next one. Winnipeg needs to respond with boobs. Dallas has been putting boobs behind the bench. And hear me out, Dan. Hear me out, Dan.
Jesus Christ.
What happened with the Edmonton fans last year?
They
Also boobs, though.
they lost the cup.
But they both
Because
went
they
to the
went
West.
to they went to cheap tricks.
They both went to the Western Conference Finals.
Does it last a little bit? Sure, but
the boobs,
it's cheap
the
tricks.
Edmonton boobs dried up, though. I would say the Edmonton boobs dried up. They didn't continue.
How could you say that about Kate?
She did. She said, "I don't want to do this anymore," which is her right.
Yeah.
Her right as a woman. But I'm telling you this, Dan. The Oilers responded to the Dallas behind the bench boobs with boobs, and the Jets. I know there are boobs in Winnipeg, and the Jets need to respond with boobs. Dude, by the way, Boldy said in the chat earlier that they came out in the second period. He said she showed him in the second period.
No.
That girl. Boldy, did she show him in the second period? We lost bingo because of that, dude. But listen,
We didn't lose bingo. We got 2 bingo lines.
I'm just thinking, Dan, that if Winnipeg in Game 5 has some cannons behind, has some rockets behind the bench, you're telling me they don't send this back to Dallas?
No, I couldn't be certain about that at all. And if we got some Winnipeg boobs, that would be big.
Yeah,
but it's cheap
they would be
tricks.
big. They would be big too.
It's cheap tricks. Producer Edge is not thrilled with the discussion right now. But
respond with boobs. And I have one more for you.
Oh, good God!
I wonder if there's something. There's just a way to get the Dallas fans not so rowdy. That's been such an advantage, right? The crowd in Dallas.
Yeah.
And I think in the same way that you lure children with like candy in a van.
Okay.
I think
You're
Texans
getting real weird.
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
Dude.
I think Texans, if you're smoking a brisket,
Yeah.
if there's been a brisket smoking for 16 hours and
Yeah.
that's just wafting around,
Yeah.
that's the same.
Now
I
we're
think they're
talking.
literally like
Floating. You're like a cartoon
yeah,
floating
yeah,
to the
yeah,
pie in
yeah,
the window.
exactly. So I think if you got some brisket smoking outside of the rink, and it was you squirted some eye drops in it, just like Wedding Crashers, and it got them sick, and not like dangerously. I don't want anybody to die, but I'm just saying if you have some tampered with brisket. Outside the rink, on the way in, every single one of those fans, the fans go into the game, the fans that have planned to go to Victory Plaza are going to go, and it says free brisket, free ribs, free brisket, free tri-tip. They go, oh my God, I'm a Texan. What do I turn down free brisket? And they take it, and then in 2 hours, they're hugging the toilet. The rink, empty. So you're playing a road game, empty rink.
That could change everything.
That could change everything. Poison the brisket.
There's no doubt about it that could change everything. Now, I want to ask you here. We've got clips of the Jets players snapping their sticks in the tunnel, grannies waving their fans away. Do you think that this, I don't want to say this is over, but do you think that Dallas has also won the mental edge here? Do you think their confidence now is just too high?
It's high. Because, dude, they've got Rantanen going, and then Granny, you're like, oh, we haven't got much from Granny. Bang, Granny, hat trick. Oh, Otter's been very good, but not excellent. Bang, Otter, excellent. Last night was a big step, I would say, for like, oh shit, it's all clicking.
Yeah, I always hate saying that whenever it's 2-1, and it's the difference between 3-1 and 2-2, and we're like, oh, this team has the edge now.
Yep.
It's like really good stuff, guys. Great insider knowledge saying that now this team has the advantage.
Yeah.
But there are some times where you're like, well, I mean, if it was an OT win and now you're going back home, you're like, oh, I mean, this could be 3-2 like that, whatever.
Good point.
This one did just, oh my gosh, it was the Otter performance. It was Miro coming back. And I do think we're seeing a lot of frustration. Like I just said, guys snapping twigs in the tunnel. Shifley watching the replays, Connor looking frustrated, Hellebuck's continued frustrations. It is going to be certainly to tie this series up, a monumental climb.
Big task now, dude. But two home games.
Yep.
2 home games. Don't forget that.
I'd like to call it one.
For sure. One game at a time. One game at a time. Yep.
Because it's going to be tough, but I mean, you need the wall in the biggest way possible. Like you need the watchers on the wall to come through for you heavy.
Dude, that is a good point, Dan. I would say this is not that they weren't going to, but this is a like everything you got Winnipeg fans game coming up. Like us included, everybody going off about the Dallas rink. You need to go fucking nuclear in this game. And the Jets, dude, I would barely change a fucking thing. That's what's crazy from game 4. I would go, just keep buzzing, pepper Otter with 30 plus shots. We're going to see him go in. It's okay. And you just, this sounds crazy, but you just kind of hope, you're like, listen, pump 30 something shots on him. Hope if you go in, and hope Heli is on home ice Heli form. Because, dude, it's so reckless, and you don't want to be down this way, but don't you kind of go, we can win the 2 home games. Like, Heli will be great here. We can win these home games. So it's kind of like that's what you tell the boys in the locker room. You go, guys, just fucking get this home game, and then we got to steal one in Dallas, which we could have done in game 4 anyway if Otter wasn't out of his fucking gourd.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong, but fuck, man, it's so hard to channel that confidence when you're down 3-1. I know you've got 2 games at home and you go, get that one, and then we'll just battle in Dallas. And Dallas is doing the same thing. Dallas is doing the same thing, saying, guys, let's not even bring this back to Dallas. Let's get our rest. You're probably looking at Vegas, Edmonton going, Edmonton's going to make quick work of these guys, and this series is over. Let's get our rest as well. So this is just a matter of the game. Like, you got to just play here. You got to just battle as hard as you can and figure out a way to take care of business on both sides.
Yep.
And ultimately, like we keep saying, it just feels like Dallas has the edge here. Chat is going crazy talking about the President's Trophy curse.
Oh, true. Yeah. But like the President's Trophy is a weird one, dude, because it's like sometimes teams are getting hotter later. I don't know. The Jets did fucking finish strong, though, because I thought they were going to get caught by Dallas and Colorado at one point. They did finish strong. Clearly, it is a thing because it happens every fucking year. But I don't know. Like the Caps are also looking like they're about to get knocked, and it's like it was going to be them too. You know what I'm saying? Like. It's not like, oh, well, if the Caps had just won the President's Trophy, they'd be winning the Cup. I'm like, they might get knocked out in the second round also.
Yeah.
But it is a weird thing. Who's the last one to do it? The Hawks? I'm going to check that.
No, I think it was, shit, we just looked at this. But yeah, look that up because that is interesting. As we wait to get JR in here, talking about the President's Trophy really quick, I do wonder what the
Hawks, dude, 2013.
2013 Hawks. Yeah. Wow. Good call. I do wonder what it is. What is it about these teams that just keep being the best regular season team and then they get to the playoffs and it all falls apart? And we see it first round, second round so consistently. It's not like these teams are making it to the conference finals or making it to the cup and then they fall apart. It's like they lose immediately.
Early. Yeah.
It's so interesting.
Yep, good point. I love too in the chat the people saying the brisket poisoning the brisket would cause serious sewage issues in the barn, which I didn't consider. But there must be porta potties in Victory Plaza. There must be bathrooms in Victory Plaza. You're telling me there aren't bathrooms outside? I don't even think they'd get inside the rink. So I feel good about that. And then also I wanted to say this. Oh yeah, from Tyler, Jets need to figure out their power play. I would say people drying up in the power play is a super underrated factor in these playoffs because I think that's actually what cost Dallas last year. And credit to Edmonton's PK because they really elevated and forced the issue. But that is it's a good observation from Tyler because if you can't count on an occasional power play goal, it's hard, dude. It's hard to score in the playoffs. It's hard to score in the playoffs.
It kills you.
Yeah.
It fucking kills you. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I don't know how many series that we need to point to and show the evidence that that is going to change everything. That is going to make you lose a series, lose a game and then a series if the power play is not going. And when Otter's playing like he was, it was another example of even when they were getting those power plays, I was a bit like, I don't know if you're going to break through here. This team looks very dialed in right now. I'm not sure this power play is going to help, but let's be real. If you go to Winnipeg in Game 5, you get some peepers and you don't score
early especially,
you're probably gonna lose.
Like fucking hell, dude. What'd you think about the Otters' better chance?
That is the most obvious. You got to do that.
You got to do it, dude.
Talking about USA battles, perfect time to bring in Jeremy Roenick to the show. JR. We got you dialed in here. How you doing, brother?
Always.
Might be frozen.
Great.
Stand by.
Awesome.
I think, while we wait for him, by the way, I think that legitimately this fires up the goalies more. I think it legitimately is a factor.
I think the competition definitely gets them going more, for sure. I think we got JR frozen here, so we're just gonna keep talking it through. Yeah, hold on. We'll bring him back in. No doubt about it. That fires them up more. You have to have that internal competition. If you're Jake Ottinger, you want that job, right? No doubt about it.
Yep.
And if you're Hellebuck, you go, no, I deserved that job. So you hear the chance.
Yeah, you sure do.
You're not letting it affect you too much. But
a bet's a bet, dude. A bet's a bet. This is for the Olympic seat. And I'm sorry.
This is for Milan.
This is for Milan. This is the Milan Cup, and this is for the game, for the gold medal. And that's what I need people to realize.
JR, what's up, babe?
What's up, boys? Sorry, we're having a
Hold
little
on 1
technical
second.
problems here, but it's all good. It's all
I
good.
can't hear him. Hold on,
You guys
JR. We
can't-
can't hear you. You're perfect. We're just working on it on our end.
TV's up, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it is your end.
You can hear us, right, JR? I
Yep,
think you can. Yeah.
Technical issues. We're getting it figured out here. Hold on 1 second.
I don't think it's that, right?
I don't know. This is not our forte.
That's true. Oh, okay. Hold on. The chat says that actually they can hear him. So hold on. Maybe.
I think it's just us.
yeah.
Yeah. Chat can hear JR. It's just us.
Hold on. Maybe if I do
Whoop,
this.
hold on, JR. Give us a
1,
word
2,
here.
3, 4, 5. 1,
There
2,
we
3, 4,
go.
5.
You are perfect. You're perfect. All right. Finally, we get Jeremy Roenick in the chat. JR, how you doing, brother?
I said, I'm doing great. I said, it's great to be with you guys live rather than watching you on my social media and watching you guys kill it.
Yeah. The best part about this is when we say something stupid, now you can just give it to us instead of just rolling your eyes. That's the best part.
Don't you mean I can join you with saying something stupid? That's supposed to be.
There we go. JR, we were just wrapping up talking about the Stars Jets. We've got, as a USA hockey legend, we've got the Battle of Otter and Hellebuck. Do you think this one is over? Do you think Dallas has this wrapped up, or do you think Winnipeg can battle back?
I don't think they can battle back. I mean, especially you've seen what Dallas has been able to do these playoffs. I mean, for them to get through Colorado without two of their best players in Heiskanen and Robertson, number one, impressed the hell out of me. But then the way that they're playing again against Winnipeg, and it just seems like Hellebuck doesn't seem to be the big time performer when he needs it. And as much of a fan I am of his, he just can't seem to get it done in these big situations. And we're here looking at another possibility of a early exit.
JR, we had talked to some guys about that got to play international hockey and how sometimes performances there you can bring back to the regular season. So I actually was hoping for his sake, because I thought Helly was good at Four Nations. I know they lost, but I thought he played great.
I thought he was great, no question.
Yeah, and maybe this would go, okay, I can play well in the big moments. Do you think just the Stanley Cup playoffs is just so much even more pressure than that? Or how come you think this one's different for him than a Four Nations gold medal game?
Well, because all of us play for the Stanley Cup, and
yeah,
in Winnipeg, this is huge for them. The fact that they got past that first round and were lucky to squeak by St. Louis.
I know.
I agree.
I think the anticipation of a cup run.
Oh.
Yep.
That was weird.
You're back.
Yeah, you guys. So for me, I think the pressure is bigger for somebody like Hellebuck in the Stanley Cup playoffs, because that's all really what Winnipeg cares about. And literally, that's where you're going to be known as a great player in history, is how you perform in the playoffs. Not for what you do during the regular season. That's all well and good. But and I agree with you. He was great in the Four Nations. It took a perfect shot by the best player in the world to beat him. But still, nobody's going to remember that if they get bounced in the second round.
Yeah, handily, by the way. Do you think, is there any, if you're Otter, is there any extra motivation? Because you're like, that's my USA goalie rival. Like, I want to be better than him. Or is that just made up media?
Oh,
bullshit?
And also,
for sure. No, for
definitely,
sure.
right?
Listen,
And
when you're Ottinger, right? And obviously, I think last year he probably took a little bit of heat for not getting Dallas a little bit further. He wasn't his best at the end. And now you're playing against a Vezina Trophy winner, and probably will be the Vezina Trophy winner again. Of course, he wants to have the upper hand. And he's a phenomenal goaltender in his right, which many think is going to win Vezina Trophy. So this, of course, he's down the other end going at the Four Nations, right? And in their series, it was the fact that he got over the Binnington jinx was good, but for some reason Hellebuck just, and I said this morning on another podcast, I think he needs contacts. I really think that he's not seeing the puck very, very well. I mean, that first goal last night was a bad goal. And how many times have you seen Hellebuck miss shots up high? I mean, his glove hand is as bad as we've seen in the National Hockey League right now over the last 2 or 3 months. Look at the goals that have been scored. Most of them are right over that shoulder, and he's missing it. He's just missing it. So maybe they found something.
No, you're so spot on, JR. We said if you're a Winnipeg fan, if you're a player on that ice, you know Helly's been having some struggles on the road, and he lets that first one in the first period when your team outshoots the other team 10-5. You're like, are you fucking kidding me, man?
Yeah, like, that's just it's such a bench buster, right? It's such a deflator. Grenlund should not be able to score that goal from outside the circle. I don't care if it comes off the defenseman's foot. That should be a pretty routine save for any goalie.
And if we're being honest, on the power play with tons of time left, it was almost not the best shot selection by Grant.
Yeah,
it's like you're not even getting set up. You're doing a zone entry shot from above the circles, and that squeaks in. That is, as you said, perfect term. It's a bench buster. Like that.
This is why they stress shoot the puck, because you never know. I mean, some of the goals that have gone playoffs, the amount of bounces that are happening, the bad luck bounces that are happening. I mean, that's one of the reasons why Winnipeg is in this situation. Is because of puck bounces, right? So shoot the puck. You never know what's going to happen.
So accurate, and it goes perfectly to another series where the Washington Capitals are not shooting the puck. Another team down 3-1 in the series. Do you think the Canes are actually different this year, or is this the same story we see? They're going to get to the conference finals. Frederik Andersen's going to cool off, and they're going to go away again.
No. This is one of the really strange phenomenons that's happening that nobody talks about because of their Carolina Hurricanes, right? Nobody cares about Carolina in the media because they're just one of those teams that fly under the radar and continue to stay very consistent. They are so well coached, and they have a very keen ability to play the most boring style of game, put their opponents to sleep, and then just close them out. I mean, look what they've been able to. They have gotten rid of in the last year. Gensel, Netskash, Nakash, and Rantanen.
It's so true. That's actually a crazy stat.
And you know who they got? They got what's his name? What's his name? From Dallas.
So they got Stankoven from Dallas.
Stankoven. They got Stankoven.
Yeah. So and then Taylor Hall. Taylor Hall was like the sneaky pickup that's been playing so great in the playoffs.
And he needs to be in a place where he's not the in the limelight, the one guy that needs to be the guy. It's a perfect position for him. But this team plays so strategically sound from one line to the next. They play 200 feet through 4 lines, and I believe they have the best defensive defenseman in the National Hockey League in Slavin, without question, the best.
No doubt.
Yeah,
and Freddie looks like he's feeling more comfortable in the net. He's been hurt, obviously, we know, for the last couple of years. I know Freddie very, very well as a person. I know he's a competitor. I don't see him really bending if he's feeling good.
JR, what do you do when you're in a playoff series and you don't feel like you're going up against the current hottest goalie in the playoffs? What are you saying in the locker room of like, Christ, how do we get one past this guy?
It's just shoot everything. Yeah. And, you talk about Washington not shooting pucks. You need as much traffic in front of the net. You need to make it as uncomfortable as you possibly can for Freddie. Traffic to the net. Everything has to be funneled to the net. And one reason that I think the Washington Capitals are finding right now is they're surprised with how few quality scoring chances Carolina gives up. So they're trying to look for the perfect shot, and Carolina doesn't give it to them. They are very sound, and until they decide just to throw everything into the net, crash bodies into that crease, make things uncomfortable, not only for Freddie, but for some of their defensemen, you know, that so far they've made it seem pretty easy for Carolina, and until they decide to get a little dirty, get into those really high traffic, dirty areas, those painful areas, and just shoot the puck, they're not going to beat them.
You're right. You mentioned Jacob Slavin. We said earlier this week, completely agree. I think he's the best defensive defenseman in the league. I think their whole core works so well together. And yeah, the reason people keep saying, this team's kind of boring, it's because they neutralize the opponent so well, make them play a shitty version of their game.
Yeah, they remind me of the Devils of the mid '90s.
Dude, yes. Totally.
100%. 100%. And you're right. The only way to break through that is just throw shit on net.
Yep.
Don't wait for that perfect backdoor tap in. You're not going to get it because you're not going to break through that deep.
Yeah, and what about OVJR? He's had a little trouble this series, it looks like. Is it hard? Is it just because it's fucking playoffs and it's so much faster now and it's hard for someone his age? Or what do you think?
Not only that, but it's the second round. It gets really much harder. And they are up against a team, literally, it's not just one layer, it's 3 layers. Ovi's 39 years old, and what he's been able to do so far in the playoffs, let alone the regular season, is insane. But we're at another level, and he's 39 years old. Let's not take his age out of the equation here. He is an amazing player, but trust me, Carolina knows who the head of the snake is for Washington. And if they take away him and make sure that Strome doesn't get too much room to do what he needs to do, let Wilson run around and do what he does. He's not gonna kill you. He'll be a pain in your ass, but he's not gonna beat you. Strome beats you. Ovechkin beats you. Pretty much that's it.
That's such good analysis.
Well,
yeah, I totally agree.
A team that's been confusing the shit out of me, at least. I don't know about you, CP. The Edmonton Oilers. I went into that first round against the Kings, and I was like, the Kings are better on paper. They were better this season. They're going to take care of business. I look like an idiot. Do you think that this Edmonton team?
You don't look like an idiot. If you look like an idiot, I look like an idiot because I picked the Kings in that also, and they should have won.
They should have won. JR, they should have swept.
This is what happens. This is what happens. Okay, the playoffs, the margin of error is so small in the playoffs, and when you're playing against arguably 2 of the greatest players in the world right now with McDavid and Draisaitl, and you have a team that went to the finals last year. Obviously, they're poised. They know what it takes to get to the finals. Now they got to find a way to get over. But the LA Kings are up 2-1 in games. In game 4, they're up 3-2 with 38 seconds left in the game. And you have a very, very talented, a great player in Quentin Byfield, who had a great year, is a spectacular player. He gets the puck in his zone with 38 seconds left. And what are you supposed to do with that puck? You're supposed to get it out. Don't even think of anything. Just throw it out of the zone. Throw it high off the glass. Whatever you need to do. Quentin Byfield decides he wants to take on the defenseman one-on-one and carry it out of the zone. That puck gets stripped and ends up in the back of the net, and they lose in overtime. You cannot give the 2 best players in the world and the Edmonton Oilers that kind of life. Instead of being 3-1 in games, which LA would have been able to hold off, now it's 2-2, and Edmonton has new life with the best player in the world by far, Connor McDavid, and it stung them. And I don't like to put one specific play that changed the entire series, but that play flipped that series on its end, and the Kings were done after that play. And I hope Byfield, I know he felt bad after the game, but he learned a very valuable lesson while you're young. In a big-time situation like that, it'll make him a better player. Unfortunately, it cost Rob Blake his job, which really pisses me off because he's a great man, great hockey mind, and a great GM. But that's what happens. But the Edmonton Oilers, man, they're following their leaders, and when you have 2 guys like by the way. Did you guys feel as bad for Jack Eichel as I did the other night when he went by him? I mean, talk about a forward understanding what a defenseman feels like with Connor McDavid coming down at him. It was so unbelievably embarrassing. And Jack Eichel is a great player, but Connor McDavid went by him and scored that and passed it to Draisaitl to end that game. And Eichel didn't even know that he went by him by the time the game was over. It was unbelievable. And that's what Edmonton does for you. If they get Skinner or to play at the level that he has to, or their other goaltender, you know what? Their confidence is growing again. Their confidence is up again. I don't see them losing this series, and I can see them going right back to the finals again. But Dallas is going to be really tough.
Yep,
really tough.
JR,
all of that is so accurate, man. And I just think I think this Edmonton team is slightly worse than they were last year. But at the end of the day, like you've said, if you have those two guys, it's a level of confidence that other teams simply don't have.
Yeah.
And you just know if you have them, you can win any game.
I would ask the two questions.
Well, I will say this, having Evander Kane back in the lineup is definitely added a big, and the reemergence, I shouldn't even say reemergence, but Corey Perry being, Corey Perry, scoring goals, being the really the difference maker in games. I would think Skinner would have been more apparent. Is he hurt? Is he playing? I don't even know.
That's been a shocker to me all year. I thought he was going to be dominant on that team.
Agree.
Yeah. So, and again, their defense is big. They're strong. They can make mistakes. But right now, when you have confidence and you have McDavid and Draisaitl playing as good as they are, they can win games by themselves. As long as they get the big saves that they need from their goaltender, they're going to be fine.
And people forget there's a chance that Ekholm comes back in round 3, and
that'd be huge.
That changes everything. Be huge.
And you can't take away Brown, how good Brown's played, how good their core staff. I mean, we haven't seen even Nugent Hopkins really get hot
true.
Yet,
really good point.
But they're a fun team to watch. They have grit, they have speed, and like I said, for me, it's the goaltending that decides how far Edmonton goes.
That's going to be my next question. I guess a two-parter. Do you trust their goaltending is part one, and part two is when you're on a team that has a little bit of a leaky goaltending thing, how do you manage that on the ice where you're just kind of worried like, oh God, I hope they hold up?
Well, I think it's one of those things where I even think the players in the locker room sit there and they come out onto the ice and they wait to see which goaltender they're going to get.
Yeah.
And to me, that's a terrible feeling to have. It's not like going in there knowing Ottinger is going to be there for sure, knowing that someone like Bobrovsky, you can trust that, right? The Skinner and who's the other guy? Skinner and
Pickard.
Yeah, Pickard. They've played well, but have they played well enough to give their team the utmost confidence that one big save is going to be made? Hey, they got to the finals last year. You can't talk about their goaltending then, but it's with more McDavid and Draisaitl on the team. So for me, can they be trusted? I would wait to see that first period before I make that decision.
Yeah, I think that's smart. All right, and then finally, JR, Florida Leafs. Looked like the Leafs might have been in complete control, and then a huge Brad Marchand OT winner, then a Bobrovsky shutout. Now it's 2-2, headed back to Scotiabank tonight. Who do you think has the edge in that one?
Well, I don't think this is the best series. This is the best series of the playoffs by far, without question, because of all the Stanley Cup defending champions, Toronto Maple Leafs, who everybody's waiting to see whether they can take that next step, right? What Berube's been able to do this team, the way Tavares is playing, the way Nylander's playing. I even think Marner's playing well right now. Matthews right now is under the most scrutiny. And people are waiting to see and he's got to get back to the basics. He's got to start playing inside the circles and shoot the puck and not worry about anything. But one thing that people don't understand about Matthews is he's a 200-foot player. He literally is one of the best defensive style players also. He kills penalties. He's got a lot of things on his plate that he does well. They're just looking at how many goals he scores. He's so valuable. Again, it's going to come down to can Wall, build the wall. Can he be the guy that stops the puck? Their defense is good. Is it great? No. But they are up against the Stanley Cup champions. They are up against a team that knows how to get it done. And unfortunately, yes, that goal by Marchand changed the confidence. Just like just like in the Edmonton Kings series, you can't give a team like the Florida Panthers any kind of edge. It could have been 3-0. And by the way, this is not, I think, a knock on Toronto playing bad. I think they got outclassed in Game 4 by a team that knows how to rise to the occasion of a big game, because they know it could be 2-2 or 3-1, and Florida just absolutely gave them a lesson on playoff hockey in Game 4. We're going to see if Toronto can do that tonight, because I think whoever wins this game tonight wins the series, and it's going to be the hardest game that Toronto's had all year, because Florida feels that they have a wounded dog underneath them, and they're just going to try to just stomp it out. And is Toronto ready to make that next step to showing people that they are Stanley Cup contenders, because they haven't shown it in 20 years. They've actually had more chokes than any other team in the last 5 years, which that's all people think about. And
exactly,
it's hard to get rid of that mentality. It really is. But they could. Goes a long way tonight in winning this hockey game at home.
I think you are so right about your Matthews take. He's doing everything. He's winning face-offs, but as a guy, and you yourself, you have 4th most goals in USA hockey history. As a guy who's on that track, he must be thinking about it a little bit, though, right? Like, isn't he in his 100%. Head going, I got to fucking score a goal?
100%. And he feels the pressure. But he's confident. Listen, you just have to keep it simple, stupid. It's a KISS theory, right? Yeah. He's got to get back in front of the net. He's got to shoot the puck more often. I think he's looking for that perfect shot. Kind of like the same thing we talked about with Washington.
Yes.
Nobody's going to question whether Austin Matthews is one of the greatest players in the game. We don't question that. We know he's one of the best goal scorers. And now he's just got to keep it simple. He's got to get back within the dots. If he starts playing outside the dots, he's not going to be successful.
Yeah, it's true. I love that. I love that call of tonight's game.
Yeah,
is going to define it. JR, we know that you got to hop off to a new show, do some more of this stuff. But is there any hot take that you have to close us out with?
Hot take for me?
Yeah.
Watch out for Brad Marchand tonight. Brad Marchand is going to be an absolute pain in the ass beast to play against, because he loves beating the Columbus. He's done it for many times in Boston. He's going to want to do it for Florida. So watch out for Brad Marchand.
I love it, dude. Of course, why wouldn't it be Marcy? Why wouldn't it be?
I agree. It's such a good shout. All right, JR, you're the man. We can't thank you enough for popping on. We're going to have to pull you back in somewhere down the line here in the playoffs. But thank you again, brother, and we'll talk to you soon.
Good, boys. Thank you. You're the best. Keep going.
Always unbelievable getting an absolute legend like Jeremy Roenick on the show. It's a couple things. One, when JR says stuff that we've been saying, I'm like,
yeah, you're like, okay, yeah.
We're not idiots. Yeah. But it's also just crazy when, he can just explain things so perfectly from a player's perspective, from a former player's perspective. I love hearing things like, talking about like the fact that the goalies in the Jets Dallas series are definitely thinking about stuff like that. Austin Matthews is certainly considering, I am a former almost 70 goal guy. Mm-hmm. Like, I got to get going. So it's just, shit. Like, it makes everything so much more intense.
Agree completely. I'll be so interested. It's funny to hear him say that the Game 5 tonight is such a decider, because I was kind of like, Florida could lose this one too. Go home and win, and then it's Game 7.
Yeah.
But I kind of hear him, because Florida obviously doesn't want to do that. And his better point is the momentum swing of it. Florida right now is going, you are clowns. You thought this was a fight. It's not. And you're dismissed. And if you can just win Game 5, the Leafs believe that too. Yeah. Right now, the Leafs are like, well, no, it's a home ice thing. And if you win Game 5 in Toronto, the Leafs go, oh, fuck, we're clowns, and I can't believe it. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I did not mean to upset you. So I think Florida has that going for him. Someone in the chat said Evan Rodriguez is out, which I know he was game time.
No, it just was announced. Palmer says he's going to be out. Bob Quist is in.
Okay, yeah. So that's big. That's big.
Yeah, Boquist is a solid player, does his job well, but Rodriguez, that's a cup winner. That's a guy who scored a couple big goals. That's That's a huge factor.
So that'll be a big one. And I'll be very interested to see. We said this in, I think, maybe one of the lives or the pod, but I'll be interested to see what happens. Because Matthew Tkachuk was doing his dance. He was doing his dance last game with like, okay, here comes the elbow. Keep your fucking head up. Watch out for Nylander's getting one. So I'm always curious. I'm always glued to the TV to see what kind of effect he's going to have on the game just with all that bullshit.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Chat, I know JR's audio got a little crackly there at the end, but yeah, we could hear his final points. That's huge. So yeah, as we close out this episode of Puckline News, playoff coverage, we've got Florida, Toronto, we've got Edmonton, Vegas. I think JR is pretty spot on, man. If Florida goes in and they keep up this momentum that they have, stay in their head and win in Toronto, I don't know.
If Florida wins, I think the series is over.
Yeah.
If the Leafs win, I think it could go 7. I'm not saying it definitely will, but I'm like, I think it could go 7.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Certainly.
But I think if Florida wins Game 5, you're fucked.
Yeah. And to me, if you guys are looking for a lock tonight, I think the biggest lock is no doubt about it, is Edmonton wraps this up.
Is Oilers, and they want to because they don't want to go back. God, we've overhyped, I especially, but we have overhyped Vegas so much, and they looked so bad. But part of me is like, well, I think they probably push it to 6. Like they'll win one game at home and then be like, all right, we lose.
I just think they're not doing anything well.
Yeah,
I think Mark
you're right.
Stone looks so poor. I think Hill was losing his mind last game.
Yep.
Especially
if Edmonton goes. I mean, first of all, Edmonton can go down 2 goals and still win. But if Edmonton goes up, I think it's good night.
Chad, I don't need to do my Bruce from Finding Nemo impression again, but it's Edmonton smells blood. When they smell blood, it's over, and that's
dude. I was dying when Roenick was talking about Jax getting torched, and I almost said
you just called Matthew Tkachuk ill in pain, and that is
that's funny.
Fucking
hell yeah,
fantastic
throw into
stuff.
the chat. I was dying when Roenick was talking about Eichel because I wanted to be like, dude, that happened to me against you in the celebrity game. Like at one point, I had a late change and I come around in the neutral zone flat feet, and JR is flying down the ice at a packed Staple or Crypto. And I was like, damn, this is not how I saw this night going for me, but here we go. Walked around me, goal, we lose the fucking final. And I'm like, well, he's like, no one really knows how Eichel feels. And I was like, I do. I know how Eichel feels. That was awful.
so true. All right. I think that's going to wrap it up for us.
Yeah, I feel like, so you have Oilers and what? Who do you have in the other game?
I can't call it.
Wow, too tight to call. Give me Leafs, dude. Give me Leafs.
A double Canada.
Give me Vegas. Give me Vegas and Leafs. And I'm going to be wrong again twice.
You crazy.
Last time I did this, I was wrong twice.
All right, we got 2 huge games tonight. One possible moving on to the conference finals game for Edmonton.
Yep.
We'll be dialed in on those. We'll be tweeting, we'll be posting. Guys, subscribe to the YouTube. Follow us on all the socials. Keep the chats up. Check out the merch. We both got awesome crew necks on right now. Hockey Club is maybe like the OG that turned the Empty Noses merch on its head.
I know.
Flipped everything upside down.
Rink rats.
Scoop some merch. Check it out in our links in our bio. Great stuff from the chat, as always, guys. We will have a new podcast episode out for you tomorrow morning. We'll be live on Friday. Just keeping the train rolling.
God, some good action coming too, man. I can feel it in my plums.
Oh, God, me too. All right, let's dial in. Watch these games tonight. And until we see you next time.
Skate hard.